Hello everyone, welcome to Insecta channel. So today we'll discuss about the mouth parts of insect. So the insect mouth part, it consists of mandible, then maxilla, then labium, labrum. Okay, so these are the four parts normally. So mandible are again, it is right mandible, left mandible, then right maxilla, left maxilla. Again these maxilla contain one maxillary pulp, and this is the labrum, that is the upper lip, and labium with labial pulp is the lower lip. So we'll discuss one by one. So mouth parts of an insect, first already I have told, labrum is the upper lip. So it is capable of limiting up and down the movement of food. For example, how much the insect will eat, how much it wants to take, that portion will be limited by this labrum, and the up and down movement is caused by the upper lip of the insect, that is labrum, and it is freely attached from the lower margin of the clypeus. So already we have discussed in the structure of head this part. Then it covers the mandibles in front and act as a upper lip. So this is the mandible part. So the mandible is covered with the labrum, and the labrum will act as a upper lip, and also it helps to pull the food into the mouth. So these are the function of labrum. Next we will see epipharynx. Epipharynx, it is inseparably attached to the labrum. Suppose this is the labrum and epipharynx will be attached like this. So you cannot separate. Like this, the epipharynx will attach with the labrum. So epipharynx, it is the sensitive area and it contains organ of taste. So here what is the important question? Organ of taste is known as dash. So epipharynx is the organs of taste. So now we'll discuss about the mandible. So mandible are the most important structure in biting and chewing type of mouth parts. So there are many insect like they are having chewing type of mouth parts or sucking type of mouth parts. So mandible is the structure, it is most important structure in case of biting and chewing type of mouth parts. So these mandible, they are very stiff, solid and compact structure, and it is articulated with head. Articulated means the movement is joined with the structure of head. Okay. Next, the mandibles are regarded as first pair of jaw and maxilla are regarded as second pair of jaw. Each mandible is moved by the powerful abductor and adductor muscle. So you can see this is the structure of mandible. Here is the structure of mandible, and each mandible is moved by abductor and adductor muscles. So this is the abductor and these are the adductor muscles. So with the help of this, the mandible will move, and this is the edge of the mandible, and this edge will helps to biting the food material. Next is maxilla. So these are considered as the second pair of jaw. Already I have told the first pair of jaw is mandible, second pair of jaw is maxilla, and actively involved in the process of cutting and grinding the food material. So the mandible, they will do biting process, and this maxilla, they are cutting and grinding of food material they will do. So you can see this is the structure. So maxilla, it consists of cardo, stipes, then subgallia, then lycinia, then gallia, then maxillary pulp. These we'll discuss one by one. So each maxilla, it composed of cardo, stipe and pulpifer. The pulpifer forms maxillary pulp, which is antenna-like shape. As you can see, this is the antenna-like shape. So this maxillary pulp is antenna-like shape, and cardostipes, here it is there. Next, maxilla is distally composed of two lobes. One is outer lobe, that is gallia, inner lobe is lacinia. So you can see here two lobe is there. Outer side it is gallia. Gallia is the outer lobe and inner lobe is lacinia. So you have to always remember which one is known as inner lobe, which one is known as outer lobe of the maxilla. Okay. So Lycinia, what is the function of it? Lycinia, it will help the mandible in holding the food. So the Lycinia, they will help the mandible to hold the food, and they are highly modified in fluid feeding insect. Next we will see the structure of labium. Labium is the lower lip, and the labium, it is having submentum, mentum and prementum region, and also it consists of a labial pulp here, and they are having four lobe. Two outer lobe, that is paraglossa, two inner lobe, that is glossa. Here also important thing is you have to remember which one is outer lobe, which one is inner lobe. So this thing here it has discussed, like the labium is divided into two primary region. One is postmentum, another one is prementum. So this prementum and mentum and submentum togetherly known as postmentum. See, suppose this is the prementum, this is the postmentum. This postmentum again is divided into submentum and mentum. So near the base of the prementum on either side lobe-like structure is there, that is known as palpeger. You have seen these two structure is known as palpeger, which bears three segmented labial palpi. So as you can see, this is the segment 1, 2, 3. So they bear three segmented labial palpi. Then prementum has a four terminal lobe. So this is the prementum. They are having four terminal lobe, that is glossa and paraglossa. So the outer one is paraglossa and inner one is glossa. Togetherly they known as ligula. So in JRF also you may get this question, what is ligula, or glossa and paraglossa togetherly called as dash. Next we will see the modification of insect mouthpart. So mouthparts are greatly modified into the insect among the different orders, but there are mainly divided into two main functional group. One is biting and chewing, another is sucking. In general you will say sucking and biting and chewing type of insects are there. So biting and chewing insects are mandibulate, whereas sucking insects are haustellate. So haustellate mouthparts can further classified into piercing and sucking. For example, in case of mosquito, they are having piercing and sucking type of mouthpart. Then sponging type of mouthpart you will find in housefly. Then siphoning type of mouthpart you will find in butterfly. But they all are coming under the sucking group or haustellate type of mouthpart group. So haustellate mouthparts are primarily used for sucking the liquid and can be broken down into two subgroup. So this haustellate you can break down into two subgroup. One is the insect which possess stylate, another one is which do not possess stylate. So this haustellate or sucking type is divided into two part. One is stylate bearer, another is do not bear any stylate. Okay, these are the two categories of haustellate. One is stylate bearer, another is they will not bear the stylate. Then how they will suck? Like sponging type, siphoning type or piercing sucking. So this thing I'll discuss in the next slide. So you will get cleared what is stylate bearer, what is without stylate bearer. Okay, so stylates are nothing but the needle like projection used to penetrate the plant and animal tissue. So आप लोग देखे होंगे मस्कीटो कैसे हमारे बॉडी से ब्लड सक करता है with its stylate. So stylate are the needle like structure. They will used to penetrate inside the plant and animal tissue, and they will suck the material from the body of plant or animal. So the stylates are nothing but the modification of mandible, maxilla, means how the stylate will form. जो piercing organ है वो कैसे form होता है? By the modification of mandible, maxilla and hypopharynx. So after piercing the solid tissue, insect use the modified mouth part to suck the liquid from the host. So haustellate type without stylet bearer will see these mouth part lack stylets, unable to pierce the tissue because stylet ही नहीं है तो कैसे pierce करेंगे. So these insect must rely on easily accessible food source such as nectar. सो देखो फ्लावर के बेस में क्या रहता है, नेक्टर रहता है जो कि इजीली मिल जाता है, हम पिनेट्रेट करना नहीं पड़ता है. तो जो विदाउट स्टाइलेट बियरर है उनको जो इजीली फूड अवेलेबल हो जाता है उसी पे फीड करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल लॉन्ग साइफनिंग प्रोबोसिस ऑफ बटरफ्लाई एंड मॉथ. सो इसीलिए आप लोगों को ज़्यादातर बटरफ्लाई मॉथ ये सब फ्लावर के पास ही दिखते हैं बिकॉज दे आर फाइंडिंग देयर फूड मटेरियल फ्रॉम द फ्लावर. Then chewing and biting type of mouth parts. So these we will discuss in the next lecture.